welcome to Color Picture CMA. So Color Picture CMA is, it's basically using devastating logic and fun to get a person to play along with you and list their house with you at the right price. Pretty exciting. All right, so let's talk about it. Now, you know, picture's worth a lot of commission dollars. So why did I create this? I've studied a bunch of other trainers, and there were some trainers that were out there that were saying, you know, oh, you can take them on a buyer tour, take the seller on a buyer tour. And I was like, geez, you know, I might not always have enough rapport with somebody to do a buyer tour at that night, you know. Maybe they just want to do the paperwork. Is there a better way? Is there a more efficient way? And so I came up with this, okay? And so why would you do it? Primarily because I was in a situation where I could be right about the price of the home and lose the listing. If you don't present the information right, then they will feel left out. They will feel left out of the process, and you're going to destroy the rapport. But what I also found is if you just trust this process, consumers are smart. They'll think like a buyer, and they'll more often than not price it right. All right, so the process is you're going to pick the best comparables from your homework. Remember, in the last video we went through our homework. We're going to pick the best comparable sales. I've got some, I always have one that's up here that says, oh, if this one is dolled up and it looks great, it's going to be up in this range. If it's a little bit haggard and old and not updated, it's going to be down in this range, and you have both of them covered. All right? You're going to print a gallery photo view. If you're not in our MLS, you don't know what that means. I'm going to show you what it looks like so you can find it in your MLS. All right? There's no remarks or pricing info on these sheets. And you're printing them in color, hence the name Color Picture CMA. All right, so all are close proximity to the subject, and you'll go ahead and put the additional property features that you may have decided. But it's very simply, when you went through your homework earlier, you've got this target group of properties that you feel like it's going to be the best way, the best comps for the house. All right? All right? Now, before I start this, when do I do the Color Picture CMA? It's when I got a firm yes and we're ready to do the property launch. Property launch works best on a Thursday. What I'd like to do is get started maybe the next Thursday or the following Thursday. Which one works better for you? Okay. Before that, I have typically said, hey, assuming that we come to an agreement on the price of the home and how much money you're going to have to the next chapter of life after all the expenses associated with it, am I the right team, with the right person, with the right process to get your home sold? Yes? Great. Well, our property launch process works best on a Thursday. You want to start go for next Thursday or the following Thursday? Which one works better for you? Those are the phrases that pay. That's the transition. You should create a transition that uses one or both of those phrases or something that is more similar to your lexicon to make that happen. They say yes. They've told you that. You're going to the paperwork. Now you do Color Picture CMA. Okay? Some people do the paperwork and then they do Color Picture CMA. I like to do the Color Picture CMA after I've got a verbal. I don't think you can go wrong either way. Okay, in our MLS forms, you can sign, and then you don't set the price until you're doing the listing input sheet. So some people will just get them to sign the listing agreement, and then you do Color Picture CMA to establish the price. I really don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. It's a personal preference item. Once I get you to say yes, and you've told me that you want it to be the following Thursday, it's off to the races. We're going to price this baby right, and this is how we do it. Okay? So now the setup for that is, you know what? As a home seller, what I found is that sometimes the most difficult process is when you've raised a family in this home, or you've been in this home and it's beautiful and you've been there for so long, it's hard to think like a buyer. So I kind of want you to go backwards in time. Remember when you were searching for this house, you were a buyer, right? And so you were a buyer, you were looking at houses like this one at that time. Because there are buyers right now looking for houses like this one. So what I want you to do is I want you to have fun and look at this as if you were a buyer in today's market. All right? So, hey, when you were shopping for homes, do you remember? Did you guys use the MLS? Did you use the internet? Was it a price book? Can you remember that? I'm going to have fun with that. Okay, depends on how old they are. All right? Then we're going to go to the color picture CMA. See if I'll put this back up, then I'm going to show it to you. So that's my transition to the color picture CMA. I'm about ready to show it to you. All right. So I've taken them back to when they remember they were a buyer. Now I say, hey, I want to play a little game with you. All right. Don't worry. There's no wrong answers. All right. I'm going to give you the answers at the end. All right. Now I'm going to hand out these pictures of homes. They are all very similar comps that would be used in an appraisal when a buyer buys your house. Okay? All I want to do is you to have fun with this, and I want you to just write it on there. Okay? Give one to the wife, she gives it to the husband, they both write. Okay? I will always, you'll see exactly what it looks like, because I'll use Adobe. I've done it both ways. Sometimes I'll type in Adobe what the characteristics of the house are. Sometimes I'll just write what the characteristics of the house are. But what they'll see is just the address, the pictures, bed, bath, square feet. Hey, remember these are all within a half mile or less or more of your house and houses that would be used in an appraisal. All right? And then I will include actives or expireds to make a point depending on the market. Okay? I like to place them in the order from the lowest to the highest. Okay? It's easier for me to then, because what's going to happen is, it's me. You should always sit next to the same sex person in a presentation. Okay? Just another tip I haven't covered in another video. So then it would be me, male, female. I'm going to hand it over to Joe. Joe's going to hand it to Mary. They're going to hand it back. You get 2 of them done, okay? And I'm going to grade the results. And we're having fun with this, okay? So, yes, sometimes people don't want to play. More often than not, they do. More often than not, they do, okay? It's actually pretty rare for me to have someone not play along with my game. Very rare. But I had to practice how I made it fun and fast. Because early on I had some people going, just tell me what it's worth. I'm going to tell you what it's worth. Don't worry, there's no wrong answers. But it's really important for me to have you see houses like a buyer's going to see them. Right? That's important. It's an important part about pricing your house right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand this off to you. And all you got to do is you know that this one is right around you. And it's 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 1880 square feet. Happens to be your house is 1808 square feet. Okay? Have fun. Write the price. Okay? Then you hand the next one out, and the next one out, and the next one out. They're stapled together. Okay? At the end, you have each house and 2 prices on it, and you have them in order from lowest to highest. I put them on the table from lowest to highest, left to right. Well, they're left to right, because you have to get good at doing this upside down. So you just, whatever you do, you want to start at the lowest, make it to the highest if they're sitting across the table from you, all right? And then you're going to say, now based on this, where would you price your house? It's that simple. Okay? What happens is one of a couple things, right? We're going to get, the latest 2 avatars I can just share with you because I still do this and it's fresh in my mind and I do it to stay sharp to be good at training. Plus I like helping people buy and sell houses. I had one that basically knew the comps, knew everybody in the neighborhood, all right? And basically said, yep, that one is and I need to get more than that one, which happened to be the highest one, because I got an outdoor kitchen which cost me $60,000 5 years ago to do it, plus it has this upgrade, that upgrade, that upgrade. Happened to be a very nice house. It was dialed in. And I was able to explain to them that the market had shifted, explain to them that there's none of these other comps had sold with a 1 in the first digit, $1 million, okay? And so they wanted to go one, at first they wanted 1.2, and we listed at 1.1. We ended up getting less than 1.1, but we sold it. These folks, actually, they did this, and they were so hard on their house, I said, hey, listen, I can get you more than that. I actually think that instead of here, it should be here. Okay? So the color picture CMA works. It works a little bit differently each time, but the key is that when I create my packet, this part is in my folder, okay, and not shown to them. After they write their prices on there, I write the actual price and the number of days on market. So I can tell the story of any actives that are still looking for a buyer, any ones that sold quickly, and a market time story. At the end of it, when you're pricing it, you can explain the market times, any buyers, any people that missed the price, and then you can then say, okay, well, based on this information, where would you price your home? Okay? When I first started teaching this quite a few years ago, I got a lot of resistance because people were just doing it haphazardly, okay? And then when people tried it, what they found is that the worry was people would still be stuck on silly, stuck on stupid, okay? This takes the emotion out of it, okay? The only reason I came up with this approach is that I used to go with a data-driven approach, and a data-driven approach is it felt argumentative with the person, and I'd finally get them to understand it, and they would understand it and not like me, and then they wouldn't hire me. Well, that's a losing proposition. When you use pictures, they like you. You're having fun. They get the answers right. And then you're off to the races. All right, hopefully you liked it. Next week, the next video, let me show you, coming up next, since I didn't do it on the last video. Coming up next, we're going to cover when a script becomes a dialogue. All right? We're going to talk about mastering scripts to not only convert new leads, put people in your database, but also qualify your network. All right? Because that's the foundation for building a business that generates automatic and repeat referrals, as well as it grows to whatever size you want it to be. So look forward to talking to you next time.